Hey, welcome to the channel. It's Sunday. It's about 10:30 in the morning, and I thought I'd come up around the river. We've had a lot of rain, and the river is really high, and I thought I'd show it to you today and walk down around Warrarat Market and see what's going on down there. And I've got a story to tell you about probably one of the bravest ladies that I've run across as far as being a survivor, and I'm going to tell you her story. And it's a sad story, but it has a pretty happy ending. But anyway, I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see where we're at. I want to thank everybody that's joined the channel and subscribed and left comments. I really appreciate it. We hit 8,000 subscribers yesterday about noontime, and I was really shocked. I didn't expect the channel to grow like that, but I'm happy to see it growing, and I'm happy to see that people are enjoying the content. Right there's Rimping Tower. It's a condo, and there's a lot of foreigners that live there. I've done a couple videos around there, but we're gonna walk south here. You can see how high the water is. A lot of people out today looking at the water. A lot of people out fishing too. We'll head south down towards the market. Hey, how you doing? It's really a beautiful day today. Temperature's about 29 degrees Celsius, and the air is super cool. You can see here the steps are all covered up. Water's got so high, and it's running fast. Yesterday I came through, and there are all kinds of debris down on the south end with big trees floating down the river, all kinds of stuff. But anyway, the story I'm going to tell you is about a girl. I'm going to call her B. I'm not going to use her real name. I'm not going to put a picture up. I'm not going to put any links to the story. I'll probably put a picture of the asshole that was responsible, and that's about it. I want to try to respect her privacy, and I just... it didn't hit the news here that I could tell, but it was all over the news in the UK. There are about 7 or 8 different articles written about it, and it's really a horrible story. I mean, it's really bad. B, you know, she's Thai. She went to the UK, and I think it's around, from the best I can tell from the article, is probably around 2005, 2004. And she's got a job over there. It doesn't say how she got there, whether she was married a foreigner and divorced him, or, you know, whether she got whatever type of visa she got, because it's very difficult for a Thai person to get a visa for the UK. But anyway, she was there, and obviously she got there somehow. And she was working as a beautician, and seemed to have a fairly successful life. And she meets this guy. She meets him on Valentine's Day, and he's about, I'm going to guess, probably anywhere from 15, maybe 20 years older than she is. And she, you know, from the pictures that I saw of her, she took care of herself, and very attractive lady. And him, not so much. I'll show you the picture of him. But anyway, they met on Valentine's Day, and they dated for a while, and they ended up getting married. And he worked for a department store over in the UK. It doesn't say, you know, what position he held or anything like that. I would venture to say he was probably somewhere in management. You know, he wasn't a bag boy or anything like that. But from all practical purposes, they were getting along fine, and things were going good. So she thought. And you know, in dealing in these situations, when you look back, a lot of times, you know, the guy that she was hooked up with and married was, I mean, just a first-class narcissist. You know, the writing's just on the wall. And a lot of times, narcissists don't always show violence. They work on you in different ways. And I've seen it a lot, and it's a slow process that they use, and they're smart. You know, the way they go about, you know, manipulating you and getting your thought process and all that. And it's a slow process that you get beat, you know, the person gets beat down. And I suspect this is probably what happened in this situation. It probably wasn't a physical type of abuse she was being subject to, but I would venture to say, unbeknownst to her, she was being groomed by a narcissist, because this guy was just horrible. But anyway, things were going along pretty good. They'd been married for like 14 years or something like that, and he got fired from his job, and he got accused of sexual harassment, and they fired him. And rather than, you know, moving on with your life and doing what most normal people would do, is go out and get another job, he took to the bottle and basically became a lazy drunk that just laid around the house all day crying about not having a job and not bringing in any money. And things were getting tough. You know, she was having to borrow money from her friends, and, you know, carry the weight of the entire financial burden that they had. And he was just being a jerk, you know, just laying around being drunk and, you know, verbally abusive. And I'm sure in this particular time in the relationship, he was very, very obsessive over her, because a narcissistic person needs to be in control. Hello. Needs to be in control. And I feel like I said, it doesn't say this, but I'm just kind of reading between the lines from what I am reading. He just got really possessive and lazy and abusive, and you know, just wasn't a good time for them. But she did her best to hold things together and, you know, keep them out of bankruptcy and keep the bills paid. But finally it got to the point where she, you know, was having a hard time doing that. Hello. Hello. It started to get really bad. She came to Thailand and spent some time over here, and I guess just got you know, just got away from it for a while, just kind of get a break. And why she didn't stay here, I have no idea. You know, that's something that you know, you get away from a relationship like that. If you get out of the country, you know, you're a lot better off. But she didn't. She went back, and after a few months, she finally decides that she wants out of the relationship. And she tells him, and he just, you know, the normal routine, he's, you know, accusing her of having an affair and making threats. And he had sent some messages, you know, on WhatsApp that, you know, if he couldn't have her, nobody'd have her, and just he threatened to post pictures of her on the internet, you know, compromising pictures and just all kinds of crazy stuff. And fortunately, it didn't change her mind. She was still bound and determined to leave him. And she comes home one night, and he's really upset and just acting kind of crazy. Well, he starts grabbing her clothes and cutting them up with scissors. And it was probably in the early evening hours. And she's trying to calm him down and trying to get the scissors and her clothes away from him, and you know, things just start escalating, and he ends up stabbing her, and stabs her a couple times, and beats her, and just all kinds of crazy stuff. And he was basically telling her, I'm going to carve you up. You're going to die here with me. And, you know, nobody's going to want you. He cut her up really bad, cut her face up, cut her neck up, cut her arms up. And every time she tried to get out of the house, he'd beat her and got her down on the bed, tried to snap her neck. And this went on for hours and hours and hours. And every time she tried to get out the door, he'd jump on her and beat her again. Wow, there's a lot of people here today. Finally, he's worn out. He's beat her so bad that he's worn himself out. And she's laying on the bed bleeding. And he basically tells her, you're going to die right here. You're going to bleed out right here and die. And as best I can tell from the article, they were both kind of just passed out on the bed. Well, I would venture to say he fell asleep, and she was able to get out. She took her keys and started running, and she ran out of the house and ran down the street all cut up and bloody. And finally somebody got her, and you know, they got her to the hospital, and the police came, and they went to where they were living. I'm going to shut this off here because I'm going to get up on top of the bridge. There we go. But anyway, the police go to the house, and they were able to gain entry, and he's in there, and he had stabbed himself and cut his wrists, and they find, you know, just a big bloody mess. So they lock him up, and I'm sure they had to treat him. She goes to the hospital, and it's just really, really in bad shape, cut all the hell, and took a lot of reconstructive surgery to get her, you know, back where she could function properly. But anyway, they end up charging him with attempted murder, and he goes to trial. Amazing, he had a trial. Why he wanted a trial, I have no idea. In most situations like that, you know, the person tries to work out a deal and pleads guilty, but I think that he wanted to dispute the fact that he wasn't trying to kill her. He was just trying to, hell, I don't know, maim her or whatever. But he was adamant of the fact that he wasn't trying to kill her. And the judge just, you know, wouldn't have any part of it. He was found guilty of attempted murder. And the judge said that based on what they saw as far as, you know, the messages and the fact that he held her captive, you know, made statements that she was going to die right there and trying to snap her neck, that you know, he was going to be convicted of attempted murder. They said, you know, they were talking about her, and she's to the point that she wouldn't go out of the house during the daytime. The only time she'd go out is at night, because she was so, you know, self-conscious about her face and the scars, and it's really, really sad. You know, just, you don't expect something like that to happen. But, you know, in law enforcement, I've seen it happen a lot. And it's usually the same situation each time. You know, the husband is very possessive. Very controlling. And I don't understand that. Anyway, the judge sentenced him to 18 years, and he has to serve 2/3 of that, which would be, I think, he has to serve 12 years, and then they said he had 4 years on license, and I presume that's probably the equivalent of being on 4 years probation. And from best I can tell from the dates, he's still in prison. The good thing is, I found her on Facebook, and I was looking at her pictures and things, and she's recovered. You know, you can look at her, and you really can't tell that you know, she's been cut up and scarred up. And from what the article said, she had several surgeries from an ENT and an eye doctor. He almost cut her eye out, and just really brutal stuff. You know, I can't fathom how a person could do that to somebody that they loved. You know, even if they're going to leave you, you know, what would make you want to do that to somebody? Just, you know, it's that narcissistic attitude. If I can't have my way, you know, you're not going to have what you want. And that's what they do. You know, they start early, and they may not do it with violence, but they'll do it with their emotions. You know, when there's something that they don't like, their attitude and their emotions will be so bad that you as the victim or the person want to do whatever you can to make that attitude, that the way the person's acting, change. So you change your own, you know, way of doing things to suit that person. And that's basically being groomed by a narcissist. And I know of 2 situations here that basically the same thing. 2 people that I've come in contact with in relationships like that, and it's basically the same thing now. There's no violence involved in it as of yet that I know of, and but they're being manipulated by a narcissist that basically, if they don't get their way, your life's miserable. And rather than have a miserable life, you give in to them and you're not happy yourself. But fortunately, this lady was a survivor. I mean, I really have a lot of admiration from her. She's turned her life around. She's living a good life and seems happy, and she's away from that clown for sure. But it's a bad situation. And, you know, it seems to me that sometimes a person who has that narcissistic personality will seek out somebody that they feel like they can control. They won't go after a strong-headed person or a person who is, you know, any kind of competition for them. They'll seek out that person that is weaker, they feel like is weaker than them, so that they can control them. And I'm sure that's probably what happened in this situation. But fortunately, it worked out for her. Unfortunately, she got cut up real bad. But at least she got away from the guy, and, you know, has a good life ahead of her, that's for sure. So, you know, you ladies, you know, the foreigners are not all, you know, there's some crazy people out there. You need to be careful who you're hooking up with. And, you know, my best advice is, if you're in a relationship, the first time that violence is brought into the relationship, you need to get out and not come back. In my dealings in that situations over the 20 years I was a cop, I never saw a wife abuser or a husband abuser change. They don't change, they just get worse. And the longer you stay, the more you're a victim and the more likely you are to get hurt. You know, it's just really bad. So the first time that physical violence comes into a relationship, you need to get out and don't come back. Don't look back. You know, it may seem hard at the time, but later on down the road, you'll thank yourself for getting your life back. I'll tell you another little story right here on this bridge, and it's really a sad story. About a week and a half ago, on the bridge, they found a cell phone and a pair of shoes on the bridge, and nobody around. And they figured out that a young girl, 22-year-old college student, had jumped off the bridge here. And they had divers out for about 3 or 4 days trying to find her. And at one point, they located the body, but the water was so strong they couldn't hang on to her. And they ended up recovering her about 4 or 5 days later down in Lamphun, which is about probably 15 kilometers south of here. And really, really sad. Her boyfriend had broken up with her, and, you know, she just couldn't take it. Terrible, terrible thing. You know, just, you know, makes you just really sad. But, you know, you just don't know what's going through people's minds. Well, I'm going to shut this off and we'll walk down by the market. It's still pretty early in the morning. Doesn't seem to be a lot of people out. I came through here yesterday and it was just mobbed.
I like your videos, man.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, I love your bike.
I just got it.
Hey, looks great, man.
Not even a plate yet.
Oh boy. Be safe, man. That's funny. Run into people all over the place. Yeah, we'll take a little stroll around the market here and see what's going on. But if you see this video, I hope you just take one thing from it, and that's if you're in an abusive relationship, get out. Don't look back. Don't worry about money. Don't worry about houses, cars, and crap like that. Just get out and get away from it, because things could go south real quick. And I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen too many times. At some point there'll be a story that I do about a case that I worked, and I worked it against a guy that I knew very well, and he was a former police officer, and his wife was in that situation, and unfortunately it did not turn out well, but I'll leave that story for another day. It may be a story that I have to spend 2 or 3 videos on. Pretty crowded in there. I'll walk around this street up here on the left. I don't really like going inside that market. It's so hot, and there's so many people in here, and even though they tell you, you don't have to worry that much about COVID right now, I don't really want to get in tight quarters with a bunch of people that I don't know. Enjoying his bowl of noodles. It's always fun to come down here and walk around. If you're coming to Chiang Mai and you don't see this market, you haven't really seen Chiang Mai. All kinds of food cooking over here too. Kids having a ball. Lottery day in 2 days. I may buy one this time, see if I can get lucky. I usually don't, and Lek never does either. Now her father will buy a fistful of them. He's got pretty lucky. He's won some money. I never do. I won one time. And here's the Chinese temple. Wow, look at the size of those donuts. Wow.
Big donuts.
Big donuts, yeah. Woo. Is that banana?
Crispy roti.
Crispy roti, okay.
This Thai cookie.
Thai cookie.
Yes.
God, my wife would kill me if I brought that home. Kinds of tie-dyed t-shirts. This place is like a maze back here. I love the colors of the fabrics. And she's squeezing fresh orange juice. Wow. We're gonna hang a left here and head that back out towards the river. I used to come here and ride my bicycle all through this place. It was really neat. The first time I came here, Leck and I came on a motorcycle, and there were so many people that we marked the motorcycle with the GPS to make sure we could find it when we got out. Because we hadn't lived here very long, we didn't really know our way around. If you can't find what you're looking for at this market, I don't think it exists. Hello. Wow, look at the size of that jackfruit. I'm gonna walk fast so that music doesn't get me. Now I think, yeah, I'll walk back out this way. Hello. Enjoying your rice? Yeah. Ooh, good. Colorful things. It's a big market. Well, I'm going to close out this video and get back to the car, go get some breakfast, and head for the house. Lex home watching football, reruns, and we'll see what happens the rest of the afternoon. Now, I appreciate you all stopping in. I appreciate all the comments and all the likes on the video. It really makes me feel good and helps the channel out a lot. So y'all have a good day. Hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.